A restless young man is busy with some serious house cleaning on a sunny afternoon. It appears someone named Aoi is about to pay him a sudden visit after 7 years, and he wonders about her purpose. Bro went from mop mode to panic mode in 0.2 seconds. He recalls how she used to cry a lot when she was a child, but now, thankfully, she is a high schooler. The guy is worried since he cannot afford to be involved in some baseless rumors. He even has a clear picture of her in his mind, sobbing hard with rivers flowing from her eyes and nose. His thoughts are interrupted by the doorbell, and he assumes that she has arrived already. Plot twist. It's not the food delivery this time. As he opens the door, a beautiful young woman is standing outside carrying a huge bouquet of roses, and she is indeed Aoi. She addresses him as Yuya Ame, and to his immense shock, bombards him with a marriage proposal. This guy went from corporate slave to sudden fiancé real fast. A few days ago, a very exhausted Yuya entered his home after a grinding overtime, and even his supervisor at work is concerned about his drained appearance. Suddenly, he receives a call from his mother, who at first condemns him for being isolated and a workaholic. She is concerned about whether he is taking care of himself properly. Next, she throws a bomb at him that someone named Aoi is coming to his place next Sunday. Mom, surprise visitor. Yuya, surprise heart. The poor lad jumps out of his skin in sheer distress about that sudden call. His mother quickly hangs up since she has to attend to his father's call. Yuya freaks out at that explosion. Dude's phone bill includes emotional damage. At present, when Aoi makes that unexpected proposal, Yuya cannot believe his ears and requests her for an encore, so she clearly states that she is interested in living together with him based on tying the knot. Quite calmly, he mentions that he was not informed about her sudden intention and only knew of her visit. Aoi observes that Yuya looks very drained, and he expresses astonishment when she actually mentions it. He suddenly realizes that she is trying to change the subject, but she insists that she is worried about him. She adamantly expresses her intention to live with him, and the poor lad tries to avoid her flaring gaze. When your crush becomes your landlord, Yuya buries his face in sheer humiliation and tries to calm down his nerves. Even a flushed Aoi turns away, and after a moment of awkward silence, she is about to repeat her proposal when, quite frustratingly, he declares that a fully grown high schooler and a middle-aged man cannot live together despite the acquaintance. He is actually blown away by the unanticipated situation. The fatal age gap got Yuya fighting for his life. With a touch of emotion, she reveals that she has been waiting for him for 7 years and is disappointed that he has completely wiped her from his memory. Yuya is speechless at that fresh attack. Next, she reminds him of the day when she moved out. Memory loss speedrun, 100% completed. He has a hazy memory of that day, so he requests her to fill in the details. On that fateful day, little Aoi had been sobbing hard, so teen Yuya consoled her that at some point in time, they would meet each other. It was then that she opened her heart to him about having feelings for him and her desire to marry him. The quirky girl was into marriage and love when most of us were still playing with Barbies. Yuya smiled warmly at that childish request and expressed his gratitude to her. He placed his hand on her head and declared that he would marry her if she were still in love with him once a grown-up. He even promised her about that. Bro dropped a promise like it was a fortune cookie. At present, when she reminds him of his promise with relish, he squirms his face in agitation. He is still skeptical of the thought of how dramatic he was in his past. She assumes that now their engagement might be refreshed in his mind, and Yuya is still baffled. Imagine losing your memory, but not your fiancé. He is curious whether her feelings for him are still the same, and she affirms with a rosy face and a cheerful smile. Then, quite sheepishly, she confesses her affinity towards him and then turns her face away in abashment. Even Yuya begins to blush hard on hearing a confession from a beautiful girl like Aoi. Men will be men, always slipping on gorgeous girls. In the past, he hadn't taken her puppy love seriously and had completely forgotten about it as time passed. He is quite startled to learn her true feelings for him, which are still alive even to this time. Out of the blue, Aoi's mother calls, and he guesses that certainly she wouldn't be in favor of her young daughter marrying a boring corporate worker. Aoi's mom, Mrs. Ryoko, entering the scene like a boss. He wonders whether he needs to talk to her as well, and when she hands him the phone, he is surprised to learn that she is really excited talking to him and especially instructs him to take care of her daughter. He informs her that it is very difficult for him to decide at the moment, but she breaks the awful news of her leaving for Australia due to work, so she cannot possibly leave Aoi alone in a foreign country. What? This is called forced adoption. However, she is quite comfortable leaving her with him since he had taken care of her before as well. Now he wasn't expecting her to rely on him so much, so he frantically refuses her idea, explaining that now he is an adult working man and the public might misunderstand them living like this. Her mother proposes an idea that they can always claim to be engaged. So who told you to be nice and kind to strangers all the time? Some of them can be glued fast to you for a lifetime. He ponders for a moment and closely analyzes their situation. With the daughter dying to be with him for 7 years, while the mother is anxious to leave in safe hands while she is away. Her mother explains that Aoi has been brought up by a single parent and is kinda lonely. She begs him to take care of her. Yuya got promoted to part-time dad. Finally, after banging his head a lot, he decides to take her into his guardianship. He declares that now they will both live together. Aoi squeals in delight. Achievement unlocked. Unplanned roommate. Her mother is full of gratitude towards him for being so considerate and accommodating. Soon she hangs up the phone, but before that, she blows up Aoi's cover that she has been training to be a perfect wife. Mons always know when to play the humiliation card. Aoi yells in sheer humiliation since it was their little secret. But her mother keeps on revealing that it is her dream to live with Yuya. Poor Yuya is perplexed since he promised to be her guardian, not husband. Soon her mother disconnects, and they both sit across each other quite awkwardly. When the boss leaves, the players are all beaten and worn out. Suddenly, he breaks the ice, wondering whether she would like some tea. She graciously claims that she is quite thirsty. He quickly gets up, apologizing for not offering her a drink earlier. Tea, the universal awkwardness fixer. With a flushed face, she assures him that everything is okay. In no time, he brings 2 mugs of tea. He mentions that he has made the tea she especially likes, and she affirms. This is funny because he didn't remember her childish confession. He notices that she is cryptically smiling at him, so he is curious. She is glad because she finally got to meet him, live with him, and he even remembers her favorite tea. He realizes with a smile that Aoi is the same little girl, even though she has grown up, and that's why she cannot be left alone. Bro hit nostalgia like a truck. To his astonishment, she pledges her dedication to his service from now on. She bows in front of him and explains that she has gained knowledge about cooking and housework. Yuya is impressed and urges her to raise her head. Wifey mode activated. She obliges, readily accepting that they are engaged now. He clarifies that he is just her guardian. He is relieved when she claims that she understands his viewpoint. Aoi is like, I'll pretend to agree, but I'm still winning. But when she mischievously repeats that he is her guardian, he squirms in frustration. In this way, the routine of a chirpy high schooler and a dullard middle-aged man begins, and poor Yuya is trying hard to keep calm. Yuya's life went from solo to sitcom. The next night, an agitated Yuya is working overtime and assumes that he will be working late till 10 p.m. or probably later. He is taken aback when his colleague Chizuru-san appears like a ghost in front of him. She is greatly amused to see his hilarious reactions. Chizuru really said, "Boo," and Yuya aged 5 years instantly. He sternly advises her to tease only her boyfriend. When she makes a sarcastic sound, he just shrugs off his previous remark. Still, she is concerned about him toiling really hard. Yuya's work-life balance is a myth, like unicorns and clean office microwaves. She points out that he appears like a worn-out old man. Later, he wobbles towards home in sheer exhaustion, and upon reaching it, announces his arrival. The next morning, he is abruptly awoken by a series of annoying doorbells. His doorbell had more energy than his soul at that point. He quickly gets up groggily and opens the door, only to find an impatient Aoi standing outside. So when she greets him chirpily, he replies to her roughly. She innocently assumes that he is disoriented because she abruptly awakened him from his deep slumber. Aoi, sunshine in the morning. Yuya, human version of a dropped croissant. She observes his disheveled appearance, having ruffled hair, wrinkled clothes, and a fuzzy face, and urges him to fix himself as soon as possible. He notices that she is being pushy just like his mother. He instructs her to come inside for now. Yuya just got mon before breakfast. She apologizes for being a pain, but he assures her that she doesn't have to be that formal. Still, she bows and heartily apologizes for intruding on his private space. He is relieved that at least she takes up responsibility and acknowledges her mistakes. Yup, you kill a person and then say sorry, elite guest energy. He stares at her in bewilderment as she takes off her shoes and puts them neatly on the rack. When she is puzzled, he mentions that he finds her dressing simple yet chic. He keeps on reading poems in her praise, but she screams at him in sheer frustration for diverting her attention. Bro turned into Shakespeare before coffee. "Calm down, Romeo, you are wooing Martha Stewart here." She forces him to clean himself and expresses her concern over his eye bags. Frantically, he rushes inside the washroom, wondering whether he said anything bizarre to offend her. But secretly, she giggles mischievously. She's enjoying this chaos like it's a rom-com and she's the director. Later, when he comes out, she giggles sheepishly on seeing him dressed casually. But she quickly overcomes her emotions and furiously condemns his trash-filled room. He avashedly recalls stuffing things inside his bedroom while cleaning the living room and then hasn't cleaned anything since that day. Yuya's cleaning strategy: shove it and forget it. Always squirms in annoyance, looking at that hideous mess. She feels that the room should be maintained and cared for. Yuya is embarrassed and immediately seeks an apology. That room had more secrets than his browser history. She makes a curt declaration that from now onwards, she will be sharing his room as well, so they should tidy it together. She begins by collecting the trash bags and orders him to dispose of the plastic bottles. Yuya gets nervous about being commanded by a mere high schooler. She's 17 but gives orders like a drill sergeant with a mop. He wonders why she is treating him like a child as she keeps on nudging him to move his hands speedily. But despite her dominating attitude, he cannot help but admire her expertise in domestic work. He even praises her aloud, making her rosy all over again. Yuya's officially been out-cleaned and out-cuted. She claims that she has been trained to be an ideal wife for him. He gets flustered when she gazes at him meaningfully with those big puppy dog eyes. Still, the nosy grandma sheds her piece of advice about the importance of regular house cleaning, and he groans in bitterness. Somewhere his actual mom just felt competitive. She observes that he is not a big fan of cleaning, but he explains that he doesn't have time for all that due to his hectic work schedule. She realizes that he is telling the truth, so she gladly takes the responsibility for managing his health. She can actually see fumes coming out of his ears as he ponders how desperately but unconsciously she is trying to be a sickeningly sweet housewife. Yuya.X is overheating from too much care and not enough sleep. She quickly puts him back on track as they still have a lot to do. So when it is time to clean his bedroom, he tries to kick her out of it because he wants to avoid looking at her appearance while doing so. In no time, the whole apartment is spick and span, and an overjoyed Yuya twirls in delight, claiming that the place looks as good as new. From pigsty to Pinterest in under an hour. Respect. Even she is satisfied with his effort and wonders whether he would like some tea. He plops down on the floor and graciously accepts her offer. She unknowingly steps on something slippery and is about to have a nasty fall when he frantically dashes and catches the damsel in distress in his arms. He lets out a sigh of relief, thinking that she is safe, but a jittery Oe turns tomato red and turns away her face. Slow motion, dramatic music, credits roll. But wait, it's just Tuesday. He keeps on questioning her about any possible injury, but she doesn't reply. To his bafflement, she quickly slips away from his clutches and hides behind a curtain. Now providing emotional support since Yuya's hugs are too cringed. He realizes that he has offended her, so he screams out an apology to her, claiming that it was just an involuntary action. Quite hesitantly, she mumbles behind the drapes that she doesn't regret his actions, in fact, she enjoyed them. Baffled, he is unable to hear her muffled voice. "Yuya, I heard something cute and confusing, send help." She breaks into a short chortle, reminding him of the falls she used to have when they were young. She elaborates on how she used to be clumsy and had frequent accidents, and then Yuya always used to take care of her with bandages. Yuya, certified Band-Aid technician since 2008. Yuya's memory is refreshed with a jumpstart. He mentions that they used to have magical moments, just like they had a few moments ago, and wonders whether she would like those to happen again. Is a trip and fall enough to kickstart an Alzheimer's patient? Playfully, she reminds him that she is a young woman now. A warm smile spreads on his face as he ponders that although people might change during the 7 years, but some things remain unaltered, like emotional damage, and that same crusty fridge. She returns that smile, affirming his thoughts. Suddenly, the magical moment is interrupted by a beastly growl coming from her ravenous stomach. She quickly ducks behind the curtain again in sheer embarrassment. Her stomach just dropped the bass like a dubstep track. He suggests having a short break and some food, since her luggage is yet to arrive. Quite flustered, she comes out claiming that one cannot fight on an empty stomach. Poor Yuya is baffled by her fluctuating moods. He's living with Google Chrome. 15 tabs open, 3 frozen, no clue where the music's coming from. Suddenly, she shows him an empty fridge and begins badgering him about it. He quickly tries to prove her wrong by pulling out milk, tea, and mayonnaise from it. She explains that she is talking about the missing meat, vegetables, processed food, and miso. Yuya's fridge, the holy trinity of bachelor survival. He boldly admits that he has none of those. He gleefully suggests a food delivery, but she shuns the idea on account of being pricey. She is curious about his usual food intake when at home. This man's diet is 60% regret and 40% preservatives. He mentions that he usually has bento boxes from convenience stores and cup noodles. Io screams in misery on learning about his unhealthy eating habits. Soon she composes herself and suggests buying some groceries as she plans on making him a homemade meal. Aoi's new mission: rescue Yuya from certain noodle-related doom. Later, the duo visits a supermarket, and it appears that Aoi is very picky about buying high-quality ingredients. For instance, while buying onions, she yells at him for being careless since they must buy only high-quality onions having perfect and clean skin. Bro just wanted onion rings, not an episode of MasterChef. Soon he picks up a smooth one, but even that one doesn't fit her standards because according to her, it should be heavier to be fresh and delicious. Yuya turns her as an old housewife who's very choosy about ingredients, but she refuses that title and claims that this is her first time cooking experience, especially for him. Yuya wonders whether he can also start learning to cook. This man's about to burn cereal trying, but she sweetly mentions that he will be a man, especially looked after by a high schooler. He still feels that he is debuting as a caregiver's assistant. Jokingly, she congratulates him and addresses him as Grandpa Yuya. From bachelor to boomer in 0.3 seconds, he feels weird being already treated like an old man by her. But then he realizes that she has been taking care of him more than he is taking care of her. He promises that from now on, he will be a more rigorous guardian. This means that he'll at least do the dishes twice a week. She is astonished at his sudden emotional outburst and assures him that he has been amazing. Out of the blue, a strange, perky young girl calls out to Aoi, and the latter immediately recognizes her as Rumi. Rumi is delighted to see her in the supermarket and probes whether she is a regular. Plot twist: Rumi's secretly a supermarket NPC. Even Aoi is stunned as she wasn't expecting her here. Soon both the girls engage in their regular chit-chat, while Yuya watches her with satisfaction thinking that at least she has some friends. Suddenly, Aoi remembers Yuya and then introduces Rumi to him. Bro's just standing like a +1 at a wedding he wasn't invited to. Both exchange pleasantries. Rumi stares at him intently, and her constant gaze makes him jittery. Next, she suspects that Aoi's elder brother doesn't look like her. Detective Rumi on the case. Someone give her a magnifying glass. Both Aoi and Yuya jump out of their skins on such a shocking declaration. Quite mischievously, Rumi secretly quizzes her about her relationship with him, and a flustered Aoi turns away, completely denying any foul play. She nervously denies any profane thoughts flooding into Rumi's mind about their relationship. Girls out here dodging questions like it's the Matrix. Disappointed from her side, Rumi then quizzes Yuya. He takes a long time forming a diplomatic answer since he doesn't want to reveal his guardian status or the complexity of their relationship. He finally blurts out that Aoi has a special place in his life. Bro hit her with the Facebook status. It's complicated. His answer shocks Rumi but rocks Aoi, but he feels that his response might get him into trouble. Predictably, a starry-eyed Rumi is curious whether he is her older boyfriend. Somebody get HR on the line. This just got spicy. Poor Aoi is splashed with ice-cold water, and she becomes panic-stricken when she realizes that she has put Yuya in a fix. Rumi is excited and keeps on grilling Aoi about how she grabbed the handsome hunk. She explains that they used to be neighbors in the past. Rumi's out here shipping harder than Amazon Prime. Rumi is exhilarated to learn that they are both childhood sweethearts. Due to emotional fizz, she keeps on giving her eccentric nicknames, which are curtly shunned by Aoi. An ashamed Yuya tries to reason with her about not sharing a questionable relationship with Aoi. It's not what it looks like. Every anime protagonist ever, but Rumi is not ready to let go that easily and wonders whether they have locked lips already. Thankfully, the hapless duo is saved by the bell as Rumi receives a call from her mother. She decides to leave them alone and heads back home. God bless clingy moms and bad phone batteries. Aoi anxiously requests that she keep the whole affair a secret. Rumi promises and instructs Yuya to take care of her friend. As they bid her farewell, she remarks that Rumi is amazing, and he cannot agree less. Amazing at causing chaos, that is. She hesitantly inquires about the intention behind his historic remark that Aoi is important to her. He sheepishly admits that he wasn't lying about that. She is stunned at his open confession. heart, unlocked, brain, buffering. He regrets the misunderstanding created in front of Rumi, but she tries to nullify the effect by claiming that such things don't bother her. But he is curious as to why she didn't encourage the boyfriend matter. Girl had a mini heart attack but played it cool like a cucumber. She looks away in sheer abashment and admits that she was glad about Rumi thinking of them as a couple. But her voice is so muffled that it doesn't reach his ears. She advises him to think before speaking to avoid unnecessary trouble. A distressed Yuya agrees, but his previous confession keeps on ringing in her ears, making her rosier than ever. As they reach home, he notices her stern expression, but she clarifies that she is just famished. The girl's stomach is louder than his feelings. He smiles at the kid-like high schooler beside him. In a short time, she manages to prepare a sumptuous meal and urges him to enjoy it while hot. His mouth waters at such a delicious sight, food so good it could end wars. In no time, he slurps and gobbles down the food hungrily and quite noisily, to her agitation. She advises him to take down plenty of vegetables instead of unhealthy food like cup noodles. He points out that she is sounding quite mom-like right now, to which she frustratingly reminds him that she is still a high schooler. She's 16 going on 40. He quickly tries to flatter her by highlighting her exceptional cleaning and culinary skills. She explains that in order to serve him proper homemade meals, she has been toiling with her cooking skills. Someone marry his girl before she starts meal prepping for the whole street. He is greatly impressed by her dedication. He vows to work hard to save himself from any further embarrassment in front of her. With a smile, she points out the sauce sticking to the corner of his mouth. Romantic moment, ruined by ketchup. Slightly abashed, he is confused about who is playing the role of a guardian here, but she proclaims that she is glad to be taking care of him, and her comments further put him in a dilemma. Plot twist. He's the child, she's the guardian. Welcome to Reverse Universe. She hesitantly brings up the subject of her being dumped on him out of the blue. He now understands the reason for her being so grounded in the first place. He gradually explains to her that he might be a little exhausted and careless, but still, he is all she has now. She got emotional support with a side of dirty laundry. He gives her full permission to spoil him, and she agrees to give her best shot. He notices her discomfort and wonders whether something is bothering her. After much apprehension, she blurts out that he should see her more as his wife rather than be her guardian. And boom, straight out of rom-com central. He lets out an infuriated groan, but seeing her dejected expression promises to give his best shot as well. Still, he doubts her about crossing limits. She groans in exasperation, realizing that he is avoiding the subject. Man's dodging feelings like it's dodgeball finals. After he has taken a second helping, he does the dishes, and then notices Aoi dozing in a sitting position. He abruptly awakens her and suggests unpacking her things the next day. Hey, even the readers are tired of that many happenings in a single chapter. Drowsily, she agrees since she has the day off the next day. He offers her to use the bathroom first since he is planning to take a bath, but she cheerfully urges him to go ahead first since she has already warmed the water for him. He takes her word and rushes towards the bathroom. Whatever I pretend to say, I am always first. While washing himself, he analyzes his whole day and registers that Aoi completely proved her expertise in domestic skills that day, namely cooking, cleaning, and shopping. He knows that behind that cheery demeanor, there is a whole story of dedication towards perfecting her skills. Girl's got more talent than any master chef in the world. He feels that it is his duty to hone his skills, as well as to prove to be a reliable adult. He is startled when she calls him from behind all of a sudden. Gradually, he turns around and finds a flushed Aoi wrapped in a mere towel. Cue dramatic anime gasp and nosebleed. Right now, a tired 24-year-old corporate worker is in a great dilemma. He finds himself stuck in a really horrific situation, with Aoi intruding on his bath. The shocked lad stares at her so intently that a humiliated Aoi has to condemn him for being so cheesy. Bro's Wi-Fi signal got stronger the moment she walked in. Thoroughly embarrassed, he tries to compose himself, but instead falls flat on the bathroom floor. An anxious Aoi wonders about his well-being, but he feels completely slain. He compels himself not to look behind, no matter what, but out of the blue, she drops another bomb, offering to wash his back. Man, you hit the lottery. This girl also gives exotic spa services. He allows her, thinking that at least he won't be looking at her, but to his dismay, he is positioned in front of the mirror where the reflection of her luscious body is easily visible. In sheer distress, he covers his face, trying hard not to sneak a peek. Mirror said, "You're trapped from all ends." Meanwhile, Aoi thoroughly lathers his back, making him wonder about the exorbitant amount of soap she is using. She gently rubs her back, making faint moaning sounds. Out of the blue, she throws an electric current at him by exclaiming, "Yours is so big." "Don't worry, she means your ego." Poor Yuya wants to sink into pits and never come back, but she continues that his back is big and strong, just like any man should have. Yuya freaks out, wondering whether she is playing some kind of mind game. Bro's inner monologue is now rated PG-13. To his relief, she showers his back and then offers to do his neck. But he gets so jittery that he accidentally splashes some water in her eyes. In a frenzy, the towel gets undone from her body, baring the front. This bath episode got more plot than most Netflix shows. Apologizing for her clumsiness, he unconsciously turns around and screams in sheer distress. Awa quickly covers herself while he turns away, hysterically claiming his saintliness. Now she is not so certain about that. Nevertheless, she quizzes him if they can continue. Saint Yuya, defender of the bathroom realm. An overwhelmed Yuya has seen a lot for the day, so he pushes her out of the bathroom, claiming that he will handle himself. Aoi feels embarrassed, wondering whether she has excited Yuya a lot. Girl, you didn't just light a spark, you nuked the man's brain. Never can she imagine how much the lad is ignited. What follows is a series of quirky caretaking services provided by her, like combing his hair, spoon-feeding, rubbing his back, etc. Thankfully, it is bedtime, and like a true gentleman, he offers her his bed while he prefers to sleep on the floor. Bro's trying to win the Nobel Peace Prize in simping. He notices her puffy appearance but ignores it and goes to sleep. In no time, he hears some rustling sounds and then some thumping. Either ghosts or the girl is grinding spices in her head for the next day's meal. He shuns them as his imagination, but to his alarm, he finds Aoi lying beside him. Out of sheer shock, he yells at her, inquiring about her intentions. Straightforwardly, she suggests they both sleep together on the bed. Plot twist. Mattress said it's now a love triangle. He flatly refuses to act upon her absurd suggestion, but she irritably reasons that he might catch a cold sleeping on the floor. Yuya smirks at her for ridiculously thinking that one might get ill in just one night. Dude really out here choosing pneumonia over proximity. She points out that one mistake can make all the difference. Also, he might injure his back, which might affect his work performance. He gets overwhelmed by her constant nagging and weekly protests about sharing the bed with her. He's fighting sleep, gravity, and feelings at the same time. She declares that she will occupy the floor in that case. He grins at her stubbornness and gives up. Soon they both snuggle up on the bed, facing opposite sides. Rom-com level, advanced awkward spooning. Yuya is in sweats since the single bed is very narrow. To his annoyance, she offers him to move towards her side. He knows that she is doing all that deliberately. Sir, she's not flirting, she's declaring war. He suddenly hears a sniffing sound coming from her side and wonders about her reason for wailing, since a while ago she was so hyperactive. He questions her about the reason for washing his back. The wise man Yuya wants to probe deeper into the meaning of receiving such VIP treatment. Quite gravely, she responds that she is worried. She still feels that she has intruded on his private space, so she has been trying hard to be useful. She even mentions that it seems he is being her guardian out of pity. Bro went from clean to crushed in 2 minutes. Out of misery, she grabs the bedsheet without facing him. His heart is filled with remorse as all this time he has been acting like a moron. He hasn't realized how much the poor girl has been struggling and how uncertain her life has become. Cue sad anime music and a slow zoom in. He wishes he had learned her feelings earlier, but he assures her that now his home is hers. All he is interested in is seeing her happy and cheerful every day. He especially mentions that she must not grind herself in cooking and cleaning because, to him, her health matters the most. This man just dropped the sweetest TED Talk of the year. After giving a hearty speech, Yuya becomes conscious of whether he has become too dominating. To make the mood lighter, he remarks that he hopes she doesn't find the space too tight, as he cannot afford to move out. Spoiler alert, the space is tight, emotionally and physically. She chortles and assures him that she will definitely work on her perspective. She snuggles towards him while facing his head. Yuya literally bursts out of abashment as he exclaims that he cannot sleep at all in that position. The bed turned into a confession booth real quick. He wonders whether she has dozed off yet. As he gives a sneak peek, he finds her wide awake, innocently staring at him. Bro blinked twice. Now it's a staring contest. She suggests he share a bedtime story to help her sleep. He jokingly mentions that if the story turns out to be a hilarious one, then things will get reversed. He pops a question towards her out of the sudden, about how she agreed to marry someone like him. Plot twist. Bedtime story just became relationship counseling. She wonders if he really wants to know, so he tries to change the subject, but she continues that she finds him caring and dependable, who is capable of doing anything. She opens up her heart, revealing that she has always loved him. Hit him with the "I've loved you since dial-up internet" speech. Earlier he was the ideal older brother that she always wanted, but then her feelings for him went through a slight alteration, as now she takes him as her husband. Still, she complains of him being slightly careless lately and wants him to act more responsibly. Imagine confessing and dropping a performance review at the same time. He assures her of his full cooperation. Next, he sneaks a peek at her and finds her peacefully dozing off. He ponders that he is far from the person Elway had admired. Bro went from CEO of stress to chief simp officer. He is still in doubt about his own personality being that attractive in the past, or that her feelings are too strong for him. Whatever it is, he doesn't want to become his former self anymore. With that, he flies to Slumberland and dreams of chaos, towels, and way too much soap. The story drifts into the past, and some little boys are bullying little Elway by tossing her teddy bear around. She tearfully begs them to return her stuffed toy, but the peevish boys refuse as they mock her for playing with dolls in that place. The poor girl wobbles and falls flat on the sandbox as she tries to run after them. Bro just unlocked the faceplant in public achievement. The boys jeer at her more intensely and tell her that if she wants to play girly stuff, she should do it at home. She sobs hard and then wails loudly. Her cries catch the attention of teenager Yuya, who is passing by. Cue dramatic hero entrance with wind blowing and birds chirping. He swiftly enters the park to check the situation. The little boys are stunned to see a tall high schooler staring at them. Next, Yuya winks at Aoi and apologizes to her for being late. He ruffles her hair playfully and explains that he went to the wrong park and made her wait. A shocked Aoi stares at the stranger, who coos and pats her like a protective older brother. He wonders if she is hungry and forges a story that they are having curry for dinner that night. Ro didn't come to play, he brought curry and charisma. Next, he sternly turns towards the bullies and urges them to return the teddy bear. The children are intimidated by the blaring senior aura surrounding him and quickly oblige. He advises them to be kind to little girls next time. Moral of the day: fear the tall dude with curry plans. As they quickly scurry away, he heaves a sigh of relief, while wide-eyed Aoi stares at him in awe. When he hands her the toy, she mentions that she doesn't have an older sibling and inquires about his name. He exclaims that he just uttered some magic words. Harry Potter, who? This guy is casting charm spells in the sandbox. A bewildered Aoi ponders whether he is a wizard or something. He affirms, stating that she can keep them as her lucky charm to keep the bullies away. Yuya then introduces himself. New sibling unlocked. Big Bro edition. Aoi bows in front of him in sheer gratitude. Suddenly, she yelps in pain, to his astonishment, and then points at her scraped knees. He gently questions her whether her injury hurts her. Aoi really out here speedrunning damsel in distress mode. When she affirms, he carries her in his arms. Seeing her baffled look, he explains that he is using a magic trick so that she can move without walking. Soon he brings her to a tap and cleans her wound with water. Someone signed this guy up for daycare MVP. When she still complains of pain, he raises his hands and then addresses the pain to be transferred into his body. Next, he pretends to be in pain and makes agonizing sounds. When Aoi shrieks in terror, he assures her that he is perfectly fine. Yui is acting. 10 tenths. Oscar's shaking. Aoi stares at her knees in disbelief as all her pain is gone in a jiff. It appears that when Yuya was a teenager, he had such a jovial personality, always ready to help anyone. Out of the blue, Aoi's mom appears in the park. Plot twist. Mom's side quest activated. She was really worried upon reaching home and finding her absent. Next, she spots Yuya and instantly recognizes him as the boy belonging to some Emme's place. When she discovers her daughter having such a good time with Yuya, she encourages her to play with him more, without realizing that Yuya might be tired. Aoi's mom is always looking out for free babysitters. At present, he is helping with unpacking her luggage. While carrying a heavy box of books, he becomes irritable. His behavior perplexes her, but he assures her that he is fine. Mood. I'm fine. While breaking spine carrying anime encyclopedias, she requests him to place the box on her desk for the time being. It can be seen that she is holding the same teddy bear that Yuya rescued from the bullies many years ago. She cheekily pretends to be talking to it, indirectly targeting Yuya to be fully engaged. Teddy's like, I've seen things, man. I have a history with both of you. Yuya turns around to peek at her and then smiles cryptically. He expresses how difficult it is to unpack, and it kinda reminded him of the time when he first moved here. In response, Aoi yawns exhaustedly, and he is immediately concerned whether she didn't sleep well last night. Yup, the work is done by Yuya, but tired expressions are appearing on her face. She explains that she is drained from all the moving and unpacking. In a moment, she brightens up, assuring him of her well-being. He realizes that she must be hungry and suggests having lunch. Hangry Aoi is not to be summoned. Feed the beast. She instantly springs up to prepare something, but he tells her to relax since it has already been taken care of. Without telling her anything, he vanishes from the house, and a while later, he cheerfully enters the apartment holding bags. Soon, he unbags all the food containers, declaring them his top bento menu suggestions. Dude just DoorDashed it himself. Alpha move. She is astonished to see a wide variety of fast food available in stores. Nevertheless, she cannot help advising him against it. He chuckles as he gets another lecture from her. Always in multitasking mode, eating and complaining together. She declares that she will prepare a delicious dinner for him later. He suggests they can always dine at a family restaurant instead. Aoi's eyes well up and begin to drip. Yuya anxiously assures her that he didn't mean to hurt her feelings. Bro chose violence by suggesting Olive Garden over homemade curry. He reasons with her that if they decide to cook, then another hectic trip to the supermarket will be taken, and then the grueling preparation. Still, he offers to clean up if she really wants to cook at home, although that seems like climbing a mountain to him. Aoi realizes that he is concerned about her fatigue, which is why he is avoiding cooking a home-cooked meal. Yuya's inner monologue, I love you, but not enough to dice onions. Now Yuya himself wanted to opt out of the unnecessary hassle. Nevertheless, he doesn't try to correct her and advises her to take some rest. She giggles coyly, thoroughly impressed by his caring nature, while he only stares at her, baffled. She finally agrees to accompany him to a family restaurant since she doesn't visit them often. Restaurant date unlocked, now serving awkward feelings with a side of fries. She makes sure that they are done unpacking before dinner. A while later, they enter the restaurant where they are politely ushered in. As they look around to find a suitable place to sit, Rumi spots them and invites the duo to sit on her table. Friend alert. Third wheel incoming with spicy comments. Aoi wonders whether she is eating alone, so she explains that she had come with a friend, but her boyfriend called and she left. Both Yuya and Aoi don't mind sitting with her. Quite mischievously, she guesses that they both are on a date. Rumi really dropped the D word like it was hot. Both scream in exasperation, and a flushed Aoi thinks it would have been better if she had cooked at home. Although she had whispered, her voice was clear enough to be heard by him, who then thrust back his head in sheer frustration. Soon they are given a menu, and as usual, Aoi is indecisive, but all Yuya cares about is how close she is sitting beside him. Menu dilemma. Stomach says yes, wallet says no, brain says, why is she touching my elbow? After much thought, she pines for having a Doria, but Yuya cannot imagine himself eating a plain rice gratin, so he orders a steak for himself. As usual, she badgers him for being a glutton. This steak just started a whole civil war at the dinner table. He shoots back at her for treating him like an old man. Meanwhile, an amused Rumi watches them bicker. She quickly intervenes by questioning them about how they met the first time. Rumi's popcorn, hot. Drama level, maximum. Aoi does not expect that sudden attack from Rumi. Nevertheless, she begins the story when she was a child. Meanwhile, Yuya feels as if the same story of his morning dream is being repeated. 15 minutes have passed, the steak is being served, and Aoi is still in the middle of the story when her knight in shining armor, Yuya, shunned those bullies back then. Waiter's like, should I just cancel dessert now or? Half an hour goes by, but Aoi is still dramatizing the whole story, where she was carried by him in his arms and magically took away her pain. He buries his face in humiliation when she finishes the story and declares it a speed version. Aoi's complete version will take 7 years. Rumi is impressed with Aoi for falling for a guy when she was a child and still staying steady for 7 years. Aoi declares him her hero. He closely notices that she is only familiar with the old Yuya, but then he barely knows about the new Aoi as well. He is quite uncertain about protecting her, but still wants to do it. Rose battling inner demons and dessert menu options at the same time. He probes Rumi about Aoi's life in school. This is because he wants to know the current Aoi in his own way. Detective Yuya reporting for emotional investigation. Rumi portrays Aoi's usual behavior in school and mentions that she is quite helpful. For instance, when one student forgot to bring his school pouch, Rumi offered him one since she always carries two with her. So when asked about why she carried two pouches, she sweetly mentions that just because she forgot to bring one of them. Girls got a plan B for her plan A, forgetting plan B. So in short, she is quite popular among the masses, but mostly she is known to be a doofus. One day, a puzzled Aoi is trying hard to open a door, but it is locked. Rumi passes by and stares at her in surprise. Plot twist. The door wasn't locked, Aoi just started a wrestling match with it. Aoi mentions that the door is supposed to be unlocked, but it won't budge. Rumi already guesses that the door will be pushed open rather than pulled, and a bird-brained Aoi is grinding herself unnecessarily. At present, both Aoi and Yuya are shocked by such hilarious revelations. It's official, the door has more IQ than both of them combined. But he declares her behavior as adorable. Chuckling hard, Rumi proclaims that if one is unable to pull the door, then sensibly they should push it open. He tries to defend her that sometimes the mind goes blank. Yeah, but her brain skipped town and left no forwarding address. Rumi adds that she becomes more precious when panic-stricken. Yuya is more intrigued and probes her for stories. She narrates an incident when a guy once asked Aoi out. Brace yourself, romance about to be misunderstood in 3, 2, 1. A coy-faced Aoi agrees, wondering about the place of meeting. The boy gave up since he guessed that she was just playing with his feelings. Rumi had been a silent witness to the whole situation and confronted her. He shot his shot. She dodged it like it was a dodgeball. It was then dropped on Aoi that the poor guy was actually making a confession. Rumi even condemned her for being so ignorant. At present, Aoi sheepishly confesses that her eyes are only for Yuya. Somebody call Cupid, she's stuck in single target mode. Rumi quickly catches her, remarking that Aoi is in love with him. An abashed Yuya closes his eyes helplessly because now he knows Rumi will tease her to the core. An exasperated Aoi announces that she will be getting a drink. Nothing hydrates like awkward tension and secondhand embarrassment. Rumi jeers at her for being a coward. As Aoi goes away, Rumi notices Yuya's eager gaze following her. She playfully nudges him that until now, there have been no successful confessions from Aoi's side. It's not a love story, it's a Wi-Fi signal, always weak. He explains that he just wants to learn more about Aoi. She assumes that he is playing the role of her guardian, which he readily affirms. He reveals Aoi's usual mature behavior around him, so he is glad that she is actually a typical high schooler. Mature around him, chaos gremlin with everyone else. Dual personality unlocked. Rumi is happy to help him out. Deep down, Yuya wants Aoi to act her own age around him instead of being his grandma all the time. He decides to enforce that rule for sure. From girlfriend mode to granny mode, now with free soup. Next, he questions her about their relationship with other students. Rumi readily agrees, claiming that although they both are very close to each other, she prefers to blend in rather than stand out. She even uncovers the fact that they are about to try karaoke soon. Mic check 1 to 2, cringe levels about to go platinum. He cannot believe his ears that Aoi is into karaoke. Soon she returns carrying a drink and is curious about their conversation. Rumi mentions karaoke, and an amused Aoi admits that she is still having difficulty with singing. Girl sings like a microwave in its final seconds. Rumi is excited to go to a karaoke bar since she wants to hear Aoi sing. Later, Rumi bids them farewell, and he wonders if Aoi also wants to go. He assures her that she can always signal him, and then he will pick her up. Translation: text me when the eardrums can't take it anymore. Aoi is confused and indecisive, so he suggests she should go with her friends. She does not want to disturb him by being late, so she plans to refuse Rumi's offer. He smiles since he was expecting the same response from her. Commitment issues? Nah, just too polite for fun. So he pats her head and advises her that one gets to go through high school only once. He really wants her to enjoy her life with her friends, as that is an essential part of life. He tells her not to be a worrywart and for once, have some fun in life. Let loose, girl. The homework won't miss you. The next morning, a cheerful Aoi wakes up Yuya and urges him to get ready while she prepares breakfast for him. He is thankful to her for providing him with neat and iron clothes that always energize him. She is glad, but then screams in irritation. Poor Yuya jumps out of his skin, but she inspects him closely and points out his crooked tie. Plot twist. Breakfast was fine, but that crooked tie committed a crime. Frustratingly, he feels as if they are a newly hitched couple. She corrects the noose and lectures him about proper appearance. She's not his wife, but she's 3 scolds away from becoming one. He stares at her intently and comments that she has become more attractive. After saying that, he bit his tongue since he accidentally blurted that out. An abashed Aoi scolds herself for taking his comment seriously. Romance.x has unexpectedly started. Please update your emotions. There is an awkward silence between them, and he breaks the ice by heading towards work. She promises that a piping hot, delicious meal will be ready when he returns, and he assures her that he will do his best to be early that night. These two are 2 missed glances away from a rom-com. As he leaves, Aoi blushes hard in delight at receiving a compliment from him. Meanwhile, 2 months have already passed with the duo living as a couple, and Yuya has managed to keep that a secret from his company so far. Congrats, you're now in a full-time job and a secret sitcom. Soon he gets busy with his work. After that, he decides to check on everyone's performance. He strolls through the office corridor and predicts that a colleague named Etu will take the longest. He is glad that so far, everything is going smoothly without any backlash. Office life, where psychic powers are used for estimating laziness. He meets a senior colleague named Mayuri Lizuka and quizzes her about the progress with the API. She gives him a thumbs-up sign, indicating that it is almost done. He apprehensively requests her to take care of the API as well, and apologizes to her for loading her with more work. Translation: Please do more work, I'll owe you lunch forever. As shaken, Mayuri agrees to complete the work by the end of the week. He guesses that she still has time to complete her project. He is completely unaware that a lady has been staring at him with an amused expression. Warning: Nosy NPC has entered the chat. He turns around and is startled to find Chisaru. Irritably, he wonders if she needs anything since he is getting uncomfortable from her piercing gaze. She expresses her thoughts on him being a workaholic again. Girl said hi, but meant, why are you like this? He protests that he does his best since it is his job. She has noticed that his routine has changed a lot lately, and it appears that he is keen to leave for home early. Suspicion level: Detective Pikachu mode activated. Still, she feels that working excessively is not good for one's health. Yuya nervously tries to avoid her gaze, and out of the blue is bombarded with a question about his dispersal time. She came for vibes but stayed for interrogation. When he mentions that it is 6 p.m., she eerily leaves without commenting any further. Yuya is slightly panic-stricken about her next move. True to his word, a beaming Chisaru stands in front of him at his exact dispersal time, and he is certain this is a deliberate action of hers. Stalker? Nah, she calls it coincidental professionalism. However, she protests that it is pure coincidence that their dispersal times are the same. Quite curtly, he probes her about not asking him normally. I am an NPC, I can pop up anytime, anywhere, I can't help it. She grounds him from all sides by saying that if she had invited him earlier, he would have refused flatly on her face. Soon, they both take a bus together, and he complains about how their department is overloading them with work, just coworkers taking a bus, and emotional damage, and he expresses his gratitude towards Mayuri. Because of her, they're off those annoying overtimes. Bless Mayuri, guardian angel of leaving on time. He realizes that he has been bickering a lot, so he apologizes to Chisaru for bearing with him. But Chisaru doesn't mind. In fact, she is proud of his handling of things nowadays. Earlier, he used to cover other people's work by doing overtime, but recently he has been checking on the team's performance and then evenly distributing the workload among all. Character development unlocked, from office mule to team captain. He notices how observant she is about everything. Chisaru compliments him for making swift progress. She came for drama, stayed for a motivational speech. He abashedly smiles in gratitude, as he has never been praised before. He wonders if she wanted to update him about his performance, and that's why she took the bus ride with him. She remarks that he has been behaving quite strangely nowadays. Now I know what a human chewing gum means. Very irritating. He is taken aback by her sudden attack. She throws another explosive on him by guessing that he is into someone. Poor Yuya is baffled and begins to sweat hard. She should be an interrogation officer at an international level. He lets out a nervous giggle and assures her that she has been mistaken. But she doesn't give up and points at his neatly ironed shirt and flawlessly done tie. His hair is neatly combed, and his mood has become chirpier all of a sudden. He said no comment, but his outfit screamed in love. Quite gravely, she comments that his work habits have greatly altered, and this shows why he isn't into overtime anymore. Yuya is completely drained of blood, but he manages to paste a goofy smile on his face. And just like that, his soul left the group chat. At first, the nosy Parker Chisaru thought that his concerned parents might have talked him out of it, or he might have gotten a girlfriend, but something tells her that this has nothing to do with his family. Spoiler, It's worse. It's both and neither. Yuya is about to freak out because she is right. His life has turned topsy-turvy completely. He is panic-stricken at the thought that if his secret is out, he will be in great trouble. Ever heard of workplace wildfire? Can leave a lifetime of emotional damage. She keeps on grilling him about whether he met that special person at work. Finally, he is forced to let the cat out of the bag that she is a childhood friend, much younger than him. Next up on Secrets That Could Get Me Fired, he reasons with himself that he had to tell her the truth so that she would stop getting the wrong vibe from him. A stunned Chisaru is more inquisitive about his girlfriend's appearance and attitude. He reveals that she is very kind and is a real gem. He basically submitted a girlfriend resume. He mentions how she cooks for him and waits for him, the real reason behind his skipping overtime. He is thunderstruck when she slams her hand on his shoulder and mischievously wonders whether he is going to sing praises of his girl in front of her. Certified, caught in the act and friend-zoned at work. He protests that she is the one who is interested in poking her nose in his private affairs. She mellows down, proclaiming that she was just pulling his leg, and she is certain that he has found a nice partner. Classic. Jokes that come with free panic. Soon the bus halts at their stop, Dagoji Temple, and she is amazed at how time flies. Time flies when you're grilling someone emotionally. She is slightly disappointed because she wanted to extract more juice out of him, but Yuya is visibly relieved to let her get off his back. As they come out of the station, they discover that it is raining cats and dogs since the monsoon season has started already. Weather forecast, 100% chance of awkwardness. A worried Chisaru fumbles through her bag and finds out that she has forgotten her umbrella. Irritably, he is surprised that even she forgets things as well. Achievement unlocked. Human moment from robot coworker. He jumps in alarm when she casually comments that sometimes she is forgetful as well. He cannot believe that Nosy Parker is even an accurate mind reader. He quickly offers her his umbrella and is about to dash out when she calls out to him that she can always buy it from a store. Gentleman level, maxed out, dryness, sacrificed, no further interrogation please. He assures her that he will be okay since he is already about to rush through the downpour. She stares at him stonily for a moment and then bursts into laughter, declaring him to be a klutz. Bro tried to ghost the rain and failed. She knows that he could have come up with a better excuse. Yuya is thoroughly embarrassed by his intentions getting busted miserably. She suggests they share the umbrella and then run towards the convenience store together. He has no choice but to agree. Soon, they walk out of the station under the same shade, their bodies brushing against each other. And suddenly, the weather turned romantic. Thanks monsoon. She mentions that this makes them look like a couple. Taking it lightly, Yuya giggles with a jitter, but then his eyes fly wide open at the sight in front of him. Just before him, an anxious and suspicious Aoi is standing, carrying an umbrella. Oh, I never knew. A great tornado was in the range. Yeah, Yuya?
Here I am. Know it's been a while. I was in denial about my love. Here I stand. I know I walked away.